Totally appropriate.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, great. Should be good to just spacebar it. Ah, wow.
It works.
It's not going to next time I hit the spacebar.
Nope.
Guarantee it.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
307 Reacts.
Yes.
Today, we're checking out something a little bit different. I've been noticing other reactors reacting to this guy. I've been watching his content for a while now.
I think you showed me a video of this guy where he was like putting a gun together or something like that. Maybe that's where I know him from. I'm not sure, but I think I've also seen him pop up in my Facebook.
One of my favorite videos is he kind of talks about what the E4s are in the military, and basically they're the little ninjas for like sergeants and stuff when sergeants need to acquire something without having to go through the paperwork and pay.
Oh, I see, I see, okay.
You know, so he kind of talks about that, and he goes, and by the way, they totally don't exist.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the Fat Electrician?
Yes, the Fat Electrician on YouTube.
Assume he comes from an electrical background? That's all I can assume.
Maybe.
That's all I can assume just by the name. But I don't know. You guys, hopefully...
let us know the origin of this.
Maybe one of you guys out there now has just come across us for the first time, and you're like, oh, I want to watch these guys talk. Hi, how's it going? If you're one of the first timers, you can give us some information on this guy down in the comments. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat. If you're one of the repeat guys that have been here for a long time, thank you. We really appreciate that. So let's just get into it, shall we? I really have no idea what we're about to experience.
Little quick cut. Our vocals are recording, correct?
I'm almost positive.
I'm almost positive. But
yeah, but I'll
for some reason
that
just came across my mind.
Oh, yeah. We're good. We're good. We're Gucci. All right. So now, anyways, we're back in. Hi. How's it going? We just had a quick cut there because we audio stuff. Anyways, America obliterates half of Iran's navy in 8 hours. Operation Praying Mantis. That's what we're about to watch. You guys ready? If you're ready, if you're along for the ride, hit that subscribe button. That's all we're asking for this year. We're trying to get to 40,000. I feel like that's more realistic. If you guys watched our video yesterday or a couple days ago, I said
unrealistic goals, 50K.
We talked about yeah, 50K is like if we hit that, something has gone off, and I don't know what it is, but something has happened. So 40,000 is what we're going for this year. Subscribe button's all you need to do. Totally free for you. Could change our lives. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Yes,
it worked.
The time that the U.S. Navy got upset and destroyed half of Iran's entire naval fleet in a single 8-hour workday. Today we're talking about Operation Praying Mantis. But real quick, this video is sponsored by Zydax Custom Gaming PCs. They are all built right here in America with
perfect. I'm in need of one of those.
support and a lifetime warranty. It's the computer that I use and the one that I would recommend. I'll have them linked down below if you want to check them out. Let's get to this video.
Hell yeah.
All right, important background info. 1980, Iraq decided to invade Iran. Why? Don't really care. Not pertinent to the story. However, at the end of that war, Iran decides, hey, we're going to pull a page out of the old Art of War by Sun Tzu. We're going to cut off the enemy supply lines, deprive the enemy of nice things. It's going to work out great. Iraq's got a weak navy. We're going to wipe out their navy, and then every time they send out an oil tanker through the Persian Gulf, we're going to blow that up. So they can't sell any liquid dinosaur. They can't make any money. They go broke. We win the war. Hooray. It's a solid plan. So they do exactly that. Then Kuwait comes out of left field and they're like, hey, we've been financially backing Iraq through this entire war for the past 7 years. We need to make sure they win so we can get our money back. So we're going to go ahead and let Iraq use our oil tankers to export oil. So Iran is like, well, that's an easy problem to solve. I'll just blow up all the Kuwaiti oil tankers as well, which is exactly what they do. But here's the catch. Kuwait at this point in time is like the one major exporter of oil that wasn't really part of OPEC, meaning that they were selling oil on the global market significantly cheaper than everybody else, driving down the entire oil market. And now that their oil tankers are getting blown up as well, it means that Kuwait can no longer sell oil on the cheap, meaning that Iran has now inadvertently committed the cardinal sin of the late 20th century, raising gas prices. Now the entire Western world looks over at the Persian Gulf like, the fuck? The ghost of Sun Tzu's sitting there shaking his head like, that's the one exception. I would have messed with any supply line except for that one, because we all know what happens next. Yeah, America then proceeds to...
Which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out one of our older videos, they released maybe 2 months ago, a month ago, we watched, like, reasons you shouldn't mess with the U.S. or whatever.
Yeah.
And they talk about the naval fleet that the U.S. has, and it is just unreal.
It's unbelievable. If you guys want to get some perspective on that, definitely
Iran didn't even make the top... They weren't even mentioned in the video. They don't even make top 10 for their name.
No. No, ours is the biggest in the world, 100%, and it beats out the next, I don't even know how many countries in a row combined.
I think it was the next 5 combined. Like...
So yeah, if
It's
you want,
crazy.
you want to check that out, we do. It was a pretty entertaining and super informative video. I really like that. We're gonna get into more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's why we're checking this out, because like that is more informative. This is like, hey, this is when it was in action. Like,
This is when shit went down, and this is how it went down.
yeah,
Pretty crazy. All right, let's go.
Because we all know what happens next.
Such a good edit.
Yeah, America then proceeds to assemble the largest naval convoy operation since World War II, send them into the Persian Gulf to protect Kuwaiti oil tankers. It is at this moment that Iran should have been like, well, that's unfortunate, time to figure out plan B, because this obviously is not going to work out. However, they decide that they're going to double down. What they're going to do is they're going to take a bunch of magnetic underwater mines, and they're just going to spread them out all over the Persian Gulf in international waters, and that's not going to have any consequences.
Okay, yeah.
At all. So fast forward, April 14th,
Yeah.
1988, the USS Samuel B. Roberts, a guided missile frigate, which is basically brand new at this point, this is like its first big operation, is out there escorting a Kuwaiti oil tanker, and it runs into a minefield, hits a mine, blows up the keel of the ship. The keel is this bottom part right here. It like supports and stabilizes the structure of the entire ship, and it gets blown completely in half. At this point, the only thing holding this boat together is the actual deck. 1 second, everything's fine. The next second, there's a 15-foot wide hole in the bottom of your ship. Everything's on fire and water is rushing in. The USS Samuel B. Roberts took on half of its weight in water in the first minute. This is a catastrophic amount of damage that would sink 99% of ships, but as fate would have it, the crew of the USS Samuel B. Roberts had already been winning competitions for having the best damage control crew in the Navy. So the entire crew gets to work. They're putting out fires, they're plugging holes, they're literally cinching the hull together with steel cables trying to stabilize it, because the only thing holding it together is a deck at this point. Over the course of the next 5 hours, the entire crew fights their ass off and somehow manages to get the situation under control and limp the ship all the way back to Dubai, where they can get it to a port. And the most incredible part of all of it, not a single American was killed, only 10 men were injured during the fire and the initial explosion. So the crew survived, the boat's basically completely destroyed. Then America sends in an underwater crew, figure out what happened. They find the remnants of the mine, they check out the other mines. Yep, they're Iranian. At this point, now somebody has to inform the president, because this is a big deal. And the president at this point in time is, let me check my notes, fucking Ronald Reagan.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
So they go ahead and they brief Ronald Reagan on everything that happened. He's super happy that everybody survived, and he's like, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to issue a proportional response. And what the U.S. Navy heard was... All right, so here's the thing. Iran currently has 3 oil rigs in the Persian Gulf that are not being used for drilling oil, but as military bases for their naval operations. So the U.S. Navy is going to go ahead and take out all 3 of those. Now, I don't really know what the guided missile frigate to oil rig exchange ratio is, but we're going to go ahead and err on the side of caution and say that it's not quite proportional enough yet. So Iran also really only has like 2 modern naval vessels. That's the Iranian frigate Sahand and the Iranian frigate Sabatland. They're going to go ahead and take out at least one of those, maybe both. We'll see how proportional they want to get. And then by the time they get all that done, that should be a nice 8-hour workday. It'll be time to clock out and go get some ice cream. So in order to get all this done by quitting time, they're going to go ahead and establish 3 different surface attack groups. Each group is going to have...
I love the proportional, right?
Yeah.
So
depending on how proportional they want to get.
Yeah. Okay, so number 1, hey man, you raising gas prices, we're gonna have to come over there. Okay.
We gotta see
then
what's
we
going
get
on.
over there. Oh, you just crashed our brand new ship?
We just built this ship.
It's about to get real proportional around here.
Okay. Welcome to the Western world. It's gonna get real
It's
Western.
about to get hot.
Just so Western out here.
So fun.
We're just gonna wipe out everything that you have now. Thanks.
Oh, so like you
Took out-
had some nice shit?
out
Yeah,
our-
you had some nice shit.
We just bought that ship. All right? We just bought that ship, okay? That's a personal attack. We're taking it that
God.
way. We're taking it as such, all right?
I love the
God,
US.
dude.
all this done by quitting time, they're going to go ahead and establish 3 different surface attack groups. Each group is going to have 2 destroyers and 1 bonus ship. That bonus ship is either going to be an amphibious landing ship or a frigate. Either way, they're all going to be identified as Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. Bravo group is tasked with taking out 2 oil rigs, Charlie Group is tasked with taking out the one remaining oil rig, and Delta's mission is to go hunt down those 2 frigates and take them out. And then, just for insurance purposes, we're also going to have the USS Enterprise parked right outside the Persian Gulf to provide air support, you know, in case we need it. So, April 18th, 1988, 4 days after the mining of the USS Samuel B. Roberts, Operation Praying Mantis goes into full swing, and Bravo Group shows up at their oil rig first. At which point, they radio over to the oil rig and inform them that they will be blowing it up in 5 minutes and that they should all leave. So, a bunch of people start leaving. They hop in tugboats and take off. Bravo Group, seeing that they're making an honest effort to actually evacuate, agrees to give them 15 more minutes. So, fast forward 20 minutes later, they send out another radio message, hey, time's up. They then fire the 5-inch guns right over the top of the oil rig with the rounds set to airburst, hopefully scaring off any stragglers. And it is at this point that some Iranian military member decides that he is going to audition to be the main character of this story because he hops on a 23mm anti-aircraft gun and opens fire on Bravo Group. And without skipping a beat, one of the 5-inch guns on one of the destroyers just goes, poof, and just fucking direct hit smokes this dude. Barely touches the rest of the oil rig. This guy, definitely not the main character, but the silver lining, he at least made it into the credits as Baloney Missed Cloud number 1. Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing here, but at this point, Bravo Group radios over to the oil rig one last time, something along the lines of, hey, does anybody else need to find out what it's like to chew 5 gum? Or are you fuckers ready to quit? The oil rig finally radios back and is like, yeah, please cease fire. We're gonna leave. So all the Iranian military members leave. Bravo Group decides to open up on it for a little bit with the 5-inch guns before sending over a couple of Hueys full of Marines. The Marines hop out, place some demo charges, hop back on the helicopters, take off. The entire oil rig blows up, and already things are getting more proportional.
God, love it.
And while all that was happening, Charlie Group made it to their first oil rig as well, and pretty much the exact same thing played out. The only differences were Charlie Group didn't have Marines to place the demo charges, they had Navy SEALs, and when the Iranians opened up with the 23mm anti-aircraft guns, they just decided to keep firing 5-inch shells at the oil platform until it burst into flames and burnt the entire thing to the ground. At which point, the commander of the destroyer kind of looks over at the Navy SEALs and is like, sorry, I guess you guys get to sit this one out.
Oh, mission got canceled? Good.
And while all that's going down, Bravo Group's already making their way over to the third oil rig, at which point they pick up something on radar, and it's definitely another enemy ship headed right towards them. And at this point, you have to remember, this is the late 1980s. None of the American sailors have seen naval warfare on this scale. The pucker factor is on. They are getting harpoon missiles ready, and they are about to get in like one of the biggest naval fights since World War II. At which point, whoever's in charge of Bravo Group decides to take a deep breath, and they're like, okay, let's send up a helicopter real quick just to verify that it's actually an enemy ship. So the helicopter goes up, radios back to Bravo Group. It's definitely a warship, but it's a Soviet destroyer. At which point everybody's like, what? What is happening right now? So they radio over to this Russian destroyer and they're like, what are your intentions? And the Russian commander radios back in broken English. I swear to God, this is a real quote. I'm just here to take pictures for history. Look, I know that I bash on the Soviet Union and communism every single chance I get, but this time around, I gotta give it to them. These guys know how to party. Just straight up rolling into the middle of the largest naval operation since World War II to eat popcorn and watch. It's incredible. At this point, Iran finally...
They're like, well, we have a destroyer. Let's just send it over there. I don't want to get involved. We just need a way to get there, and I just want to like see what's going on.
Yeah, like what's up?
What's up, guys? What are you doing? You guys like fighting or something?
Oh no! I'm just here to take pictures.
Oh, I don't want to be a part of it. I'm just watching. Yeah. I'm just here from the crowd. I ain't trying to take sides or give advice or nothing. Okay, I'm just here to take some pictures for history. And then we're going home.
And then I'm gonna go home and chug a vodka.
We're out of here. Okay. In Soviet Russia, boat drives you, so this is where we ended up, okay? All right, we're just here partying, okay?
Figures out that there's something going on, but they don't really know what, so they just begin attacking any ship they can find, and the first ship they found was a civilian cargo ship called the Willie Tide, that they begin attacking with Boghammer-style speedboats. So the Willie Tide radios for help, the USS Enterprise responds by sending up a bunch of A-6 intruders, as well as F-14 Tomcats. The A-6 intruders show up, start dropping cluster bombs, they end up hitting one of the speedboats and scattering the rest. The civilian cargo ship is saved, hooray! Cutting back to Charlie Group, now there's an Iranian fast attack ship coming right at them. So they radio over like, hey, yeah, we're kind of going around blowing up all your stuff, but also we've got a very specific list. You're not on it, so how about you just go away and we'll forget we saw you. The Iranian fast attack ship messages back, Sounds good, we'll do that. And then they just keep driving right towards them. And then this Iranian fast attack ship gets within like 15 miles of Charlie Group, which is like point blank range for a naval battle.
You can see
Charlie
it,
Group radios
That's
again.
15 miles when you're out on the open water. That guy's right next to you. Like you can. He's right there. There's nothing.
It's one of those weird, like, and I mean, it looks like it's still a ways out, right? I mean, it's still pretty small.
Oh, sure.
But like, it's one of those things. Like, you'll run into this, especially around Wyoming. Like, you see a hill, you're like, that doesn't look that big, and then you start climbing the thing, you're like, fuck me.
Yeah, you get closer and closer to it. But I mean, like, out in the open water, you know, you're talking like he's saying, when you're talking a sea battle with ships that have missiles that can fire,
that can literally wrap around the globe and hit themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so, you know, we got corrected on that because we were talking diameter or something like that. No, we were talking radius, and everyone's saying it's the diameter, so you can't cut through the middle of the Earth, so it's actually bigger to go all the way around. Something about science and spheres and shit. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the whole pi thing.
Sorry,
I forgot to calculate pi.
We got disputed on that one, but regardless, the point of the matter is they have missiles that can make it that far. So it's like
well beyond.
when he's saying that's like point blank range, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can see their ship in the distance. It's like they can see us.
They have been within range for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And, dude, what are you doing? To which they respond, I'm following orders. And then they proceeded to lock their radar on Charlie Group, which Charlie Group can see. At which point Charlie Group immediately launches 5 missiles directly at the Iranian vessel. The Iranian vessel fires a harpoon missile back at Charlie Group. Both groups now have missiles in the air screaming towards one another. The Americans launch countermeasures, shooting up chaff rockets that end up catching the harpoon missile, detonating it in midair. The Iranian vessel, on the other hand, did not have any countermeasures capable of stopping the newer technology behind the American missiles, and it would end up getting sunk pretty much immediately. Then, before anybody can really fully digest what just happened, radar picks up 3 Iranian F-4s screaming towards Charlie Group.
Oh.
Charlie Group then turns, fires a bunch of surface-to-air missiles at the F-4s. The F-4s see them coming. They're like, oh shit. They pop a U-turn and try to outrun them. F-4s, while they are extremely fast, can't outrun missiles, so one of the missiles ends up blowing a wing off one of the F-4s. Now America has taken out an entire naval vessel and an F-4 that they did not plan on taking out, and it's throwing off all of our proportions. And because of that, American leadership orders Bravo Group to stand down. We're not going to go take out that 3rd oil rig. And right as soon as that order gets given out, Delta Group chimes in, is like, hey, we found that frigate we were looking for. So now nobody knows what to do, because on one hand, things are already getting out of control, but on the other hand,
by the way,
we really want to take out these frigates. So American leadership decides, well, we might not even have to make a hard decision. Maybe that's not even the frigate and the radar's wrong. Why don't you go ahead and send a couple A6 intruders over, do a flyby. They can verify that it's actually this new modern frigate, and if it is, we'll make a decision from there. Or so they thought, because the A6 pilots are about to decide that they are, in fact, the main characters of this story.
Oh, no.
You see, the USS Enterprise and its aircraft aren't really supposed to be doing a whole lot. They're more or less just there for insurance. In fact, they're only allowed to engage the enemy under one of 2 conditions. 1, the President of the United States signs off on it, which is actually what happened with the speedboats earlier.
Oh.
Or 2, they get fired upon first. So they got told to go fly by this boat to verify that it is in fact the new modern frigate, but they didn't get told how to fly by the boat, so they drop down 50 feet above the water and just gun it, and they buzz the entire ship. So the ship opens fire with its AA guns, but these planes are so low to the water, the AA guns can't actually aim down low enough, so all the anti-aircraft fire goes right over the top of them. They continue to stay low enough till they get out of anti-aircraft gun range, and then they pull up, at which point the ship launches a bunch of surface-to-air missiles at them. They drop chaff as a countermeasure, takes care of those, no big deal. They then go around, do a U-turn, send a radio message to this frigate, I'm going to sink you now. Which they can now legally do, because remember, the ship fired on them first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Victim to one of the classic blunders.
So the A6 fires an anti-ship harpoon missile, and the second they pull the trigger on that, the fire control team from the USS Enterprise is like, what the fuck are you doing? We're not supposed to be killing things yet.
Yeah.
And the A6s are like, look, they fired at us
shot
first.
at us,
Them's the
man.
rules. And the USS Enterprise is like, holy shit, okay, I guess. Let him have it. Then the Harpoon missile finally makes impact. It's a bullseye. The A6s do a U-turn, go, drop another 500-pound laser-guided bomb right through the deck of this frigate, fly past it, do another U-turn, come back, drop a 1,000-pound bomb on it. Then they radio over to the Enterprise and like, yeah, it's definitely going to sink. We're going to head back. So the A6s take off, headed back to the Enterprise, and like 5 minutes later, Delta Group shows up with their warships and begin firing on the already sinking frigate. They hit the magazine, the frigate explodes, rapidly sinks to the ocean floor. At this point, naval leadership is like, okay, Jesus Christ, everybody stop killing things. We need to figure out what all happened. We got to keep this proportional. Remember.
Proportional.
So they start radioing back and forth. Everybody's figuring.
I love that all the times he showed the proportional picture.
Yeah.
It's one of the photos. I assume it's one of the photos from this event.
Yeah.
And it's always just something
fucked,
wrecked, dude. The last one was an oil rig, and it was just mangled, man. Yeah, it was crazy.
Proportional.
And not to mention the Grand Theft Auto and the death scene.
Yeah.
And all, yeah.
Oh,
it's
so good.
The editing is there, bud.
So they start radioing back and forth. Everybody's figuring out what everybody did, if anybody's hurt, what's going on, the whole story. And then as the A6s are making their way back to the USS Enterprise, guess what they happen to fly past? The other modern frigate. So now the entire U.S. Navy is looking at this last frigate like SpongeBob looking at a jug of water.
I don't need it. I need it.
But also, like, realistically speaking, the A6s are pretty much out of ammunition. The only thing they have left are 2,000-pound bombs, and those just aren't going to be enough by themselves without a Harpoon missile to take down this ship anyways, so they really are just going to fly by and verify that it's the modern frigate. So the A6 intruders go ahead, they do their flyby. It is in fact the new frigate that they thought it was, and it does in fact open fire on the A6s. A6s make it out completely unscathed, at which point they pop a U-turn, and one of the A6 pilots is like,
It's the bullseye womp rats in my T-16 back home.
So the A6 pulls up, gaining altitude, and then dives down, aims its nose right at the frigate at like a 35-degree angle. They're doing a good old-fashioned dive bombing run like it's fucking World War II. The AA guns start firing, there's bullets whizzing past the plane, but they're committed now. They're closing in, closing in. The bombardier behind the pilot lets the pilot know, hey, I'm locked on. At which point, bombs away, the pilot pulls up, and the bomb goes right down the fucking smokestack of this boat. Blows up, completely destroying the entire engine room. That frigate is now dead in the water with no power. The A6s go ahead and radio in that they have completely disabled this frigate, at which point the American leadership calls a complete ceasefire. They're going to go ahead and let that frigate survive, get towed off, potentially be repaired. With the US Navy having effectively disabled or destroyed over half of Iran's functioning navy, the US military decides to call it a good day, ends Operation Praying Mantis, we all get to live happily ever after. Except, later that night, Iran decided that they wanted to fight a little bit more, and they launched a bunch of Silkworm anti-ship missiles at American vessels. Luckily, no American vessels were actually hit, however, this is now a huge political problem because America has been mad at the fact that Iran even had Silkworm missiles for years at this point, and the American government has made it very clear to Iran that if they ever used them, they would be going to war with America, period. That's set in stone. So the Reagan administration, not wanting to kick off World War III in the 1980s, reaches out to the Iranian government and is like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go ahead and admit that that was an accident. I'm going to sweep it under the rug and we're never going to talk about it again. Because if this makes headline news and the American people find out, I'm going to have to get real proportional around here. So Iran's like, okay, fine.
I knew it. I knew it was coming, dude. I was like, yeah, if you guys, if we find out,
man,
dude, and what a way to put it. Like, this is what happened. Called him up. He was like, hey, we're going to say that was an accident.
Yeah.
You fucked up real bad. Yeah. I'm going to sweep that under the rug, and we're just not going to talk about it ever again because that was really stupid. we almost got real proportional around here.
I'm going to start using that.
I'm going to use that a lot, dude.
Like, listen, dude, you start doing that shit again, okay? It's going to start getting real proportional.
Look, bro,
around
if you're not going to do your job, okay, things are going to get proportional real quick, okay?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the decline is coming fast.
It's
all right?
fast.
It's slippery slope, as they call it. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude, I'm 100% going to use that. That is.
We got to hit it back like
I'm going
twice.
to, yeah.
I'm
going to just go like back.
This guy's delivery.
Dude.
I mean, like I said, I've seen older videos of his before. And like that's why I ended up following him, because like this is the guys that I hang out with at work and shit. Like
he has not skipped a beat with his delivery. He
Yeah.
hasn't. I haven't heard an I haven't, and it doesn't look like he's reading
he
a teleprompter.
edits some of those out.
I'm sure he does.
You
Yeah,
can
I'm
see
sure
little,
he
like-
edits breaths and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But regardless, he's delivering really
Yeah.
well, man. And I don't see his eyes shifting like he's reading a teleprompter or any other things on the screen. So
just
he's
telling a
good, dude.
story.
I like
Yeah.
the way he delivers. His editing is on point.
Oh, facts.
So good. All right,
Facts.
let's finish this out.
Stone. So the Reagan administration, not wanting to kick off World War III in the 1980s, reaches out to the Iranian government and is like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go ahead and admit that that was an accident. I'm going to sweep it under the rug and we're never going to talk about it again, because if this makes headline news and the American people find out, I'm going to have to get real proportional around here. So Iran's like, okay, fine, whatever.
So
It was
good,
an
dude.
accident. Let's sweep that whole thing under the rug. But I am still going to take America to international court to try to prove that it was a war crime to take out my oil rigs. That way I can get reparations and make America pay for it. So they go to international court, they lay out the case. The international court is looking at America like, okay, well, first of all, you're the fraction people. I don't know how you think that this is proportional, but it definitely wasn't. Second of all, according to the Amity Act, you absolutely should not have attacked their oil rigs. This is probably a war crime. At which point the representative for America is like, well, actually, if you read the Amity Treaty between Iran and the United States, it only talks about ships and boats. It don't say shit about oil rigs, meaning I wasn't obligated to not attack those oil rigs. At which point the court is like, hold on.
Hey, hang on.
Fucking, he's right, son of a bitch. Okay, well, I guess America's innocent, because I've said it once and I'll say it again. It's never a war crime the first time. And now for the best part of the entire story. America
shit.
now proceeds to go over to Dubai, pick up what's left of the USS Samuel B. Roberts, tow it all the way back to Maine, then take the ship out of the water, get it in dry dock, cut out the entire damaged section of the ship, including the engine compartment, build another module to fit in its place. This thing weighs like 300 tons. They jack it up, weld it right where it's at, get everything rehooked up, reconnected. And this boat is back out on the ocean 1 year later on April 1st, 1989.
Damn,
It then
dude.
goes on to get recommissioned and serves in the Navy until 2015. I mean, playing Battleship
Jesus.
against America's gotta suck, right? Like, haha, I've sunk your frigate. And America's like, first of all, no, you didn't. Second of all, fuck your entire Navy as it picks up your board and just throws it at the wall. So in conclusion, if you do ever find yourself
I
being
love
the leader
that. Haha, we sunk your frigate. First of all,
No.
you didn't. Second of all, we're just gonna tow that bitch back and fix it really quick. You know how many welders we have waiting at the dock for work like this, bro?
And that ship is a
Oh.
year turnaround
is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
That is insane,
Like-
dude. The engine compartment alone, like the
Yeah.
engine, they blew up the engine. You got to rebuild an engine for that thing.
Yeah.
And you built an engine in a year.
Yeah.
And all the shit to go around it, and built like he said, essentially a mid portion of the ship to just put
the
a
whole
module
underside of the fucking
in. Yeah, dude.
like,
What the hell?
God, dude. And you know, that's the only way I can see that being possible is it's getting worked on 24/7. Day crew, night crew.
Oh yeah.
Mid shifts, like
Never stops getting work done.
never stops.
That's one of those
We
jobs.
need this
that's
back
like
on the water now.
immediately.
Like,
It should be
yeah.
back on the water yesterday, and every day is going to be a day late until it gets done.
Yeah.
You know, like
Like-
one of those kind of things.
That's crazy.
And boys were working, dude. All right.
of a foreign nation one day, the best advice that I can possibly give you is A, do whatever you can to not raise gas prices, and B, whatever you do not fuck with America's boats. We do not like that shit. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is like, comment, subscribe, maybe go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Very solid, dude. Like
I
very.
like his apparel. I might have to pick up.
It's never a
some
war
of his
crime
shit.
the first time. I kind of love that, to be honest. Dude, the only thing that keeps me from buying shirts like that is the stigma that comes along with that kind of stuff. Oh, it's some political right winger thing, but it's like no, this is actually related to a story that this dude told, and he's actually, you know, it's his merch. He designed it. He's making money on it. He makes it in America, and you know he's working for it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to buy some more like I want to buy some Calhoun shirts.
Oh,
I like
dude,
that he
his
always
shirts
has
are
little
so good.
American flags on
Yeah.
on the sides
Yeah.
of his stuff. I like that. Well, I just want to get into some more of that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like most of my shirts are like band T-shirts. You know, I need some apparel, like some working man's apparel. I like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
It's never a war crime the first time.
I like
I love it.
I like too that, you know, especially this tying in with that video we watched, 5 Reasons Not to Mess with America, or would America survive an invasion or whatever?
Yeah.
Could we hold off an invasion? This one ties like right in with that video. It's and this is like in action. This is it happened. The reason why we can make all these references as to why you shouldn't is because it kind of did.
It just like, oh yeah, we shot these missiles over and they don't have the countermeasures to deflect this thing.
Well, yeah,
so.
we had super modern missile technology that they'd never seen before, and it's like even all the defenses you guys have up to this point, no,
worthless.
These go past that, so it doesn't matter.
And then like these other guys trying to shoot these planes that are too close to the water, the guns like don't go down
that
far.
is like some.
That is wild.
Dude, that's like some action movie shit. That's some like that's some weird what's his bucket? The dude that does all the explosions, the Transformers guy. Michael Bay. That's like some Michael Bay shit, dude. Where like, dude, okay, so you imagine being on the radio with the guy behind you or whatever, and it's like, dude, if you fly low enough, the guns won't hit you. You just have to fly under the water. You got to be about 50 feet though.
50 feet.
So don't fuck up.
Let me tell you, waves in the ocean, they can get 50 feet or higher. You gotta
the waves too, and you got to think also like when you're that low, there's got to be some fluctuations in like surface tension and pressure and all that has to be, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so it's like
typically the higher you go, the smoother the air
easier
is.
it gets, right?
Yeah. And like I guess flying over water, there's not much. There's probably a little bit of turbulence and stuff.
There's got to be some sort of pressure layer between the water and the air, right in that zone, and you know they were close to that shit.
Yeah,
just inches away from death. Not to mention the fact that you've got anti-air guns shooting directly at your window as you're flying down into this thing, dude.
And the thing is you know the guys are just chilling. They're like, they can't hit me,
dude.
Like,
and the pulling back up, dropping the bombs.
And
they
then
land,
that dude dive bombing.
Dude, they land
crazy.
Inside the one spot they're supposed, basically a bullseye.
Yeah,
we have no ammo left. Well, we got one.
Yeah.
All right, go around. I'll
just send it.
You're
down
gonna
the
have
exhaust.
to dive bomb into the ship while they're shooting at you, and then I'll lock onto the center mast or whatever. Yeah, and I'll just drop a bomb down there. What? And it worked.
And it worked.
I love that he's like. Actually, these A6 pilots decided that they were, in fact, the main characters of this story. He starts off saying, well, this guy thought he was the main character. Nah, turns out he
was just
he jumped on an anti-air gun and immediately, 5 seconds later, gone.
Yeah.
They didn't even hit any other part of the ship. It was just the gun.
Just the guy. They didn't even hit the gun. They might have hit the gun.
Pop, 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 pop. All right, he's out.
God, dude. That has to be, listen, okay, fucking scary.
Oh, dude.
You're looking at this vessel, okay, and they're probably a good ways out.
A ways.
Okay, it's not like they're parked right next to
it's not like some Pirates of the Caribbean shit. They're a long ways from each other.
They're quite a ways away from this oil rig, and you're sitting there, and the guy's like, I'm gonna fire on him. It's like, okay. So he goes and do, right? You just see the gun, whoop, boom, fire, like barely any time. Just instant reaction fire, and it hits the dude. Nothing else.
Just
the amount of accuracy is just fucking terrifying. Like, that is terrifying.
What did he call it? Mixed baloney or whatever the hell he called
baloney
it?
missed number 4.
Baloney missed number 4. That was definitely that man. Crazy, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was really good. I love this kind of stuff. It's educational. Yeah. I like when someone can deliver it in like a fun, like an interactive kind of way, you know, where he's putting in these little like clips of SpongeBob. And they saw the last one. And it's like, we don't need to take it out. We'll just come home. And then everyone's like,
nah, we need that one.
Nah, let's just take it out. Nah, let's just go get it. Yeah, dude. Really good. Great editing. I would be down to watch some more of this stuff. Yeah. If there's something from this guy that you guys would like us to watch, or that you, one of his videos that's your favorite or something like that, let us know in the comments, because I'm down to add more of this to our list. I think it's cool.
This guy's amazing.
And I like the idea of kind of expanding out of different things, you know, so we don't have a bunch of repeats on the channel. I like getting some fresh faces on the channel. Really nice. I like it.
Yeah.
New year, new face.
That's it.
Who dis? All right.
My face still the same ugly bullshit you guys been looking at.
Unfortunately, we're just going to keep getting uglier out here. I'm sorry, guys, but but we appreciate you being here anyways. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. If you guys enjoyed today's video as much as we did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, click the bell, become part of the notification gang. And we'll see y'all next time. Bow.
Yeah.
God, dude, the eggnog riot.
What's an eggnog riot?
That's one of his stories that was like suggested next.
Okay.